In the quiet coastal town of Newport, Rhode Island, where the salty breeze carried whispers of distant oceans, lived Alexander Harrington, a weathered Navy veteran whose eyes still sparkled with the fire of battles long past. At 78 years old, Alexander, or Captain Alex as the locals called him, had spent 4 decades serving aboard some of the mightiest vessels the world had ever seen. His home, a modest cottage overlooking the harbor, was filled with mementos, faded photographs of towering ships cutting through stormy waves, medals pinned to a shadow box, and a worn leather journal where he chronicled his life's adventures. Alexander's granddaughter, Lily Rose Harrington, was his greatest joy. At 12 years old, Lily was a curious soul with wide, emerald eyes and a cascade of auburn hair that danced in the wind like autumn leaves. She had lost her parents, Alexander's son Marcus and his wife, Sophia, in a tragic car accident 5 years earlier, leaving her in the care of her grandfather. Marcus had followed in his father's footsteps, enlisting in the Navy and serving aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford until his untimely death on shore leave. The loss had forged an unbreakable bond between Alexander and Lily, one built on stories of valor, sacrifice, and the unyielding power of the sea. One crisp autumn evening in December 2025, as the sun dipped below the horizon painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Lily sat cross-legged on the porch swing, her sketchbook in hand. She was drawing a majestic ship, inspired by the tales her grandfather often shared. "Grandpa," she said, her voice soft yet eager, "tell me about the strongest ships in the Kiev Navy, the ones that could conquer any storm." Alexander smiled, his wrinkled face softening as he lowered himself into the rocking chair beside her. He pulled out an old dog-eared book from his shelf titled Top 10 Strongest Warships in the U.S. Navy. Fleet. It was a compilation. He had assembled himself, blending official Navy records with his personal anecdotes. "All right, my little sailor," he replied, his voice gravelly but warm. "But this isn't just a list. It's a story of heroes, heartbreak, and the heart of America. We'll divide it into parts so your young mind can soak it in. Tonight, we start with the giants of the fleet." Lily leaned in, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. Alexander opened the book, and as the waves crashed against the distant shore, he began. "The U.S. Navy, Lily, is the guardian of the free world, with ships that embody power, innovation, and resilience. In 2025, our fleet stands unmatched, a testament to American ingenuity. Let's begin with the top 3, the behemoths that rule the waves." First on the list was the USS Gerald R. Ford, the lead ship of the Ford-class aircraft carriers. Displacing over 100,000 tons, this floating fortress was a marvel of modern engineering. With electromagnetic aircraft launch systems and advanced arresting gear, it could deploy up to 75 aircraft, including the stealthy F-35 Lightning II fighters. Alexander's voice grew somber as he recalled his own time aboard a similar Nimitz-class carrier during the Gulf. "Horace, I remember the roar of jets taking off at dawn," he said. "But this ship, Lily, it's the future. Your father, Marcus, served on her during her maiden deployment. He wrote to me about how she cut through the Pacific like a knife through silk, her radar systems detecting threats miles away." Lily's fingers traced the outline of the ship in her sketchbook. "Was Dad scared, Grandpa?" Alexander paused, his eyes misting. "We all were at times. But ships like the Ford give you courage. They're not just steel. They're shields for the brave." He explained how the Ford's nuclear propulsion allowed it to sail for decades without refueling, making it a strategic powerhouse in global operations. F-64048A. Next came the USS Zumwalt, the stealth destroyer that redefined naval warfare. Part of the Zumwalt class, this angular beast was designed to be nearly invisible to radar, its wave-piercing hull reducing its signature to that of a small fishing boat. Armed with advanced gun systems, capable of firing precision-guided projectiles over 60 miles and integrated power systems for future laser weapons, the Zumwalt was a ghost on the water. "I never served on her," Alexander admitted, "but I trained crews who did. In 2025, she's the tip of the spear for anti-surface and land attack missions." Lily imagined the ship slipping through enemy lines like a shadow. "It's like a superhero hiding in plain sight." "Exactly," Alexander chuckled. "But remember, it's the people aboard who make it powerful. Like Lieutenant Elena Vargas, your grandmother's best friend who piloted drones from its deck during a classified op. She saved lives that day but lost her own in a storm." Heroes, Lily. They're the real strength. The third was the Virginia-class submarines, silent hunters of the deep. These nuclear-powered attack subs, like the USS Virginia herself, were equipped with Tomahawk missiles, advanced sonar, and the ability to deploy special forces undetected. In 2025, with upgrades for hypersonic threats, they patrolled the world's choke points, ensuring freedom of navigation. Alexander's voice dropped to a whisper. Submarines are the Navy's hidden blade. Your uncle, my brother Thomas, commanded one during the Cold War. He once spent months underwater, listening to the ocean's secrets. It takes a special soul to endure that isolation. As the stars emerged overhead, Alexander closed the book for the night. That's part one, my dear. Tomorrow we dive deeper. Lily hugged him tightly, her heart swelling with pride and a touch of sorrow. The sea's legacy was etched in their family, a powerful reminder of duty and love. The next morning, Frost clung to the windows as Lily bounded into the kitchen, her excitement palpable. Grandpa, ready for part two? What comes after the submarines? Alexander poured them both hot cocoa, the steam rising like morning mist over the sea. Patience, Lily rose. Today, we cover ships 4 through 6, the versatile warriors that bridge air, land, and sea. These are the ones that carry the fight to the shore. He reopened the book, his fingers tracing the faded ink. Fourth is the USS America, lead of the America-class amphibious assault ships. Often called big decks, these vessels are like mini aircraft carriers, displacing 45,000 tons and capable of launching F-35B jets, Osprey tilt rotors, and Marine expeditionary units. In 2025, with enhanced aviation facilities, she's crucial for rapid response in hotspots like the South China Sea. Lily sipped her cocoa, envisioning Marines storming beaches. Did you ever land from one? Alexander nodded, a distant look in his eyes. During Operation Desert Storm, I coordinated air support from a similar ship. But it's the human stories that stick. There was Sergeant Micah Ellis, a young Marine who lost his leg in Iraq but returned to train others. Aboard the America, his resilience inspired us all. Ships like this aren't just transports. They're launch pads for dreams and redemption. Moving on, the fifth spot belonged to the Arleigh Burke class destroyers, exemplified by the USS Michael Murphy. These multi-mission workhorses, over 500 feet long, boasted the Aegis combat system for ballistic missile defense, along with helicopters, torpedoes, and vertical launch systems for 96 missiles. In 2025, with upgrades against drones and hypersonics, they're the fleet's backbone, Alexander explained. D04D8E. Lily's eyes widened. Named after a hero? Yes, Medal of Honor recipient Michael Murphy, who gave his life in Afghanistan. I knew men like him, fearless. Your father Marcus once fired a missile from a Burke class during a tense standoff. He said it felt like holding thunder in his hands. But war takes its toll. Marcus carried the weight of lost comrades home. The sixth was the USS Independence, a trimaran-hulled littoral combat ship of the Independence class. Designed for shallow waters, it reached speeds over 40 knots, with modular mission packages for mine countermeasures, anti-submarine warfare, and surface combat. She's agile, Lily, like a dolphin in the waves. In 2025, with laser weapons integrated, she's perfect for coastal defense. Alexander's tone softened. I commanded a prototype during trials. We rescued refugees from a sinking boat off Somalia. Among them was a little girl no older than you, named Aisha. She reminded me of you, brave despite the fear. Ships like the Independence save lives, not just end them. As the sun climbed higher, Alexander set the book aside. Part 2 ends here. These ships teach us versatility, how to adapt in the face of chaos. Lily sketched furiously, capturing the essence of each vessel. The stories wove a tapestry of emotion, pulling at her heartstrings with tales of heroism and humanity. By afternoon, storm clouds gathered over the harbor, mirroring the intensity of the tales to come. Lily and Alexander moved inside, the fire crackling in the hearth as rain pattered against the panes. Part 3, Grandpa? Ships 7 to 9? He grinned. You're insatiable like the sea itself. These are the supporters, the unsung heroes that enable victory. 7th was the USS San Antonio, flagship of the San Antonio-class amphibious transport docks. These 25,000-ton vessels could carry 800 Marines, landing craft, vehicles, and helicopters, with advanced medical facilities and stealth features. In 2025, they're vital for humanitarian aid and combat insertions. Alexander noted, E0680D. During the 2020's evacuations from conflict zones, I saw her in action. We loaded families fleeing war, their eyes filled with hope. One woman, Isabella, gave birth aboard, naming her son after the ship, Antonio. It showed me that power isn't just destruction, it's protection. 8th, another Arleigh Burke class, the USS John Finn, distinguished by its hypersonic missile defenses and upgraded radars. Named for a Pearl Harbor hero, she's a sentinel against emerging threats. Alexander's voice cracked. Your grandmother, Elena, was a nurse on a similar destroyer. She treated wounded sailors during a missile attack. Her hand saved many, but she couldn't save herself from the cancer that came later. Ships like this remind me of her, strong, unwavering. 9th was the USS Portland, a San Antonio-class variant focused on innovation, testing laser weapons against drones and small boats. In 2025, her directed energy systems are game-changers, zapping threats with light-speed precision. I witnessed her trials, Alexander recalled. A young engineer, Sophia, like your mother, developed the laser tech. She was brilliant but lost in a lab accident. Her legacy lives in every zap that protects our sailors. As the storm raged outside, Lily felt tears well up. These stories hurt, Grandpa, but they're beautiful. That's life at sea, he replied, hugging her. Powerful, like the waves. Evening brought calm, the storm passing like a fleeting battle. Lily and Alexander sat by the fire, the book nearing its end. Last part, Grandpa. The final one. 10th is the Columbia-class submarines, the next-generation ballistic missile subs replacing the Ohio-class, stealthier, with 16 missile tubes for Trident II D5s, their nuclear deterrence ensuring peace through strength. In 2025, the lead ship is under construction, but her design promises unmatched silence and endurance. Due before A1A, Alexander closed the book. These ships, Lily, are more than metal. They're vessels of dreams carrying the spirits of those we've lost, Marcus, Elena, and countless others. They teach us that true power comes from the heart, from sacrifice and love. Lily wiped her eyes. One day I'll join the Navy to honor them. He smiled proudly. And you'll be the strongest of all. As they watched the moon rise over the sea, the legacy endured, a powerful, heart-touching saga of warships and warriors, forever etched in their souls.